Smart
one.
glasses. Sundial.
Okay, just so it's ready.
Yep, please do.
We're on.
I guess that sundial would be more accurate than a watch with a dead battery, wouldn't it?
Right. It's only right twice a day, right? Or never if it's digital.
Good morning and Happy New Year. I'd like to call this first meeting for the Seneca County Board of Commissioners for 2017, January 9th, to order. Please join us for the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
To join me for the prayer. Lord, thank you for the beginning of this new year and for all that it will come before us. Please grant us the knowledge and the wisdom to do what's best in serving the citizens of Seneca County. And with that, and in your grace, let us always remember that thy will be done. We especially like to lift up all of our Seneca County families at this time for comfort and knowledge and your wisdom. In your name we pray. Amen. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Here.
Okay, we'll have the signing of the journal, and I'll accept the motion to approve the digital audio recording of our previous session, which was Tuesday, December 27th, and the written index of that meeting.
I will so move.
Yeah, second.
Nice job, Shane.
We have a motion and a second for that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Thank you.
Now, if Fred was there, I would say, we'll slow down if you need.
All right, adjustments to the printed agenda. Is there anything anybody would like to add to the agenda that's not already on here? Kirschner, anything?
I don't have anything.
EMS meeting.
Under new or old,
Um,
scheduled, so I guess old.
old.
Okay. Then we will proceed, beginning with the old business. Let's start with that one, the EMS meeting. This is a meeting requested from townships and a village, right?
Yep, Adams Township, Pleasant Township, and Green Springs has requested a meeting. Mike and Fred had attended, and Mike had agreed that we would, I guess, host. That Mike would set up the meeting, which we did, and it was scheduled tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I have had numerous questions about it being a public meeting. It was my understanding, at least at that meeting, it was Mike that was gonna be attending the meeting, not necessarily the whole board, but I didn't know your thoughts. I know we talked about it right after that meeting was over. I do not have any RSVPs from any townships.
Did they sent out the meeting notices?
No, they had asked us to.
They had asked us to. Is it a public meeting for them? Are they sending majority of their boards or
Don't know.
council?
I don't know.
Well, the original idea was to have a meeting on a regular basis with all the trustees to talk about issues that they have in common. And the original idea was one representative from each township so as not to make it a public meeting, and one commissioner. That was the original thought. So, not knowing whether or not more than one township trustee would show up, if two of those are there, does that constitute a public meeting?
If they're debating,
Okay.
it's not a-
Debating. I
Well-
mean, if it was their meeting and we were just attending it, and there was two of us there just listening to, I don't know that that would constitute a public meeting. I don't believe it
Yes,
would,
it would.
but it's a matter
It's
of,
still public meeting, it wouldn't necessarily be our public meeting.
it would be
but
our
it's
public
still
meeting. No, but
public
it would be
meeting.
when
Well,
it's theirs.
you know,
It's their notice.
we should play it on the safe side, I mean.
I guess the onus is on them to make sure the 24-hour notice is out, is what I guess that's the concern for them if they're not planning on it.
it had come up Friday at the EMS meeting, so I said I would bring it up today.
Okay, well, let's be on the safe side. I mean, we wanna be as transparent as we can. So let's postpone the meeting tomorrow, because can't give them 24-hour notice at this point. And set another date and give everybody 24 hours notice.
Oh,
I guess if they wanna verify they want just a smaller informal meeting, then,
I'd hate to cancel on them if they've taken off work since it is a morning
Well,
meeting.
Okay, but
We
we
can
don't,
just explain it to them when they get here. I don't know.
explain what to them.
That if they stay,
if it's
Wow.
more, if they have a majority of their, which is more than one for the townships, and I don't know what it takes for the council.
and then
There's
we'd
only-
have to.
I only got one response from one township, and that was Tim Lynch's. And he said him and one representative would be there, so him and one of his councilmen would be there. That's the only response I got from,
Well, the other way to skin the cat would just simply be to call the trustees and say we can only have one representative from each of the townships. Otherwise, we would get a violation, so let's just do that. Let's just call them and tell
Yeah,
them we
so-
only have one rep.
That's what I was gonna say, just
Then
remind
in
them.
the future, if they wanna have more than one rep, then we'll make it a public meeting. Does
I
that
think
make sense?
I think more people were interested in coming, and we didn't plan on it being an open meeting, but I've had at least Scipio Township had indicated at the EMS meeting on Friday, or the holiday,
If they wanted more than one rep there.
yeah.
Okay,
That's why I
well,
figured I better ask today.
I think what we'll do is contact all the townships and tell them that only one rep can come to this meeting because we're within a 24-hour window, rather than cancel. That we'll go ahead and have the meeting with one rep with each township. But that future meetings, we can have as many as we want, we just need to make notice.
And you'll be at the meeting tomorrow.
Yes.
All right, take care of it. Good. Justice Center update. What's next on the agenda?
Well, I will defer to those people that have been here.
I don't know if they sent one. I know that Silling sent a report up, and both Shane and I went over with Ed John Luxton to the contractors meeting, I guess, on Thursday over at the Gilbane office, and just listened to, those are on our schedule, and I kept thinking I'll get to one. The last one I didn't manage to get to. I think they do those weekly, so we're just free to go to those if we want to bop in. Kind of hear the various things going on. They were going to work on getting all the visqueen or whatever plastic up around the double elevator shaft and remove the scaffolding on the other elevator shaft that they did first, and they were going to be doing that, and steel delivery coming
Steel delivery.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday, so that's the gist of it. And I think they were talking about the sample of the brick coming in, and they didn't have it then, but Stacy has seen it, because they did bring it later on. So,
I was very impressed with their focus on safety and the safety meeting that they had. So I was very happy that they were focused on keeping their people safe.
yeah. They brought up a number of things. Make sure they do, and I'm sure that's routine for them, so good stuff. All right. We had done regional planning assessments to just determine we've received our invoice, how we want to proceed the payment on that, as we have been doing, or all at once, I think was the reason for it being on the agenda, so we can decide. The last several years, we've paid half and then paid the second half in the beginning of the second half of the year. So it's just a matter of what we want to do for that. Stacy needed to know. Does it matter to anybody?
There's no reason to deviate from what we've done in the past, is there?
No, I mean, it doesn't matter, we can do pay half up and then half later.
Yeah.
That
And she's
was
got
it.
a road up that we could do either way, so.
Okay, all right. We'll do the same as we have the last few years then. Okay. Maybe enough. All right. New business. ADA parking proposal.
If you have too many questions, I'll have to have Tanya come in. She's working with Encompass to get some of our projects, our blacktop projects wind down. We've got all of them downtown fixed, repaired, resurfaced, and she was working on Sheriff's Museum, the Egg Center, those aren't an immediate need, but she does have a plan in place to move forward with those projects. And when we had one of our other projects done, obviously the CSB, that it wasn't ADA compliant. Mark does the specs for us, but when he does his roads, he doesn't need to be ADA compliant with his roads. So when he gave us the specs, they weren't ADA compliant. So he has given us the preliminary specs for these lots, and then Tanya has asked Encompass to go through to make sure that they're ADA compliant. I guess our biggest concern would be the ag service building because of the slope on that blacktop. But it looks like the quote to do these lots, to get the plans ready would be $17,800.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of money to spend. I did read it, had some concern about it, but on the other side of that coin, if we go out and start blacktopping things and they're not compliant, then we have to rip them up. All we're doing there is costing the county more money. So I would suggest that we move forward with that and know what we need to do before we spend a lot of money in blacktopping some parking lot.
Did we get a second quote on that? I mean, is there someone else that does that? I mean, I don't have any way to judge whether or not that's reality or not.
Sure. Well, engineering services and professional services, we don't usually have to bid. We've tried to spread out some of the engineering jobs to different various local, and Encompass has always been real good for us and real fair priced. Otherwise, locals, we don't have very many locals. We were using
Palmer.
Yes, Palmer, and we have not been satisfied with Palmer, so we weren't going to use them anymore. So,
I mean, from
I
my
can
perspective,
get-
I would like to see a second quote.
Sure.
On the same thing, and goes for virtually anything.
okay.
Okay, I think that's good. I'll withdraw.
On those, I know she needs to know the cost of this stuff before we figure out, because I know we use our recycled content money for parking lots, and Tanya does a great job of plotting these out and kind of having an order to them, knowing that we can't ever do them all in 1 year.
Sure.
And just kind of making sure we address the most critical first and cycle through them and so forth. Will there be any way with whomever it is, whichever company we end up doing this with, that we could, if they get us this ADA, that they would review that for us if it doesn't occur in the current calendar year, when the project does go, we're ready to bid the project, just based on changes in ADA, because the state does make changes.
They do.
So I don't know if we can
I'll have to
add that in there.
I'll have her ask.
Thank you. The apiary, is that how I say it? Inspection?
Apiary.
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 Apiary. There we
The
go.
inspector.
The inspection program.
Yes. Seneca County has not had an apiary, and as far as we've always talked about it, we don't need an apiary for Seneca County, so it's just a non-appointee for our county. So Nikki just thought you'd want to see it and read it.
Oh,
You go
okay.
through, you can
Is
see.
it typically a paid position in other counties, or
Yeah.
what, is that?
Yeah, it's quite the buzz.
So,
Because when I looked through it, I noticed there were several counties that
Yeah,
didn't
resident.
have.
right.
Oh, yes.
I have, Paul Dundorf, my name. I have a question that's concerned that you feel we don't need one. Am I correct at that? I'm assuming that?
The county has never had anybody in that position?
They did have. Brett Bollinger from Republic at one time was the bee inspector.
Well, let me clarify.
I
The
belong
10
to
years
the-
I've been here, we have not had
Right,
a
correct,
bee inspector.
correct. I belong to the Sandusky Valley Beekeepers Association. As you all know, we have a desperate need for honeybees. They are really in the decline, whether it be through the colony collapse disorder, some kind of a fungus is killing them. I'm not sure myself. I have, over the years, I've been doing it probably for about 10 to 12 years now. There's been a slow decline of the bee population. Every year, I spend probably, well, it's $140 to get a box of bees to make a hive. And then you have all the frames, boxes, bee suit, everything else, EpiPen, which is out of sight if you've all noticed on the, to buy them, if you need one and if you're allergic to bee stings. Fortunately, I'm not. I haven't had to have one, but it's an additional expense for a lot of beekeepers if they are allergic to them that would like to, just because you're allergic to them doesn't mean you can't do it. There's protection ways to keep from that. But I know I got an email the other day from Kim Floden, he helps write articles for the Bee Culture magazine, which I subscribe to. And there's really a decline in the bees over the last 4 or 5 years. They've really, I put 4 hives in last year, and before they could even get started, they vanished. Where they took off to, I sure wished I knew, because I've tried to follow them, but there's no way you can. If you've ever tried to follow a bug through the air, it's awful tough to do. I'm not sure, I'm just going to voice my opinion. I know our Troy Leibengood, which is the bee inspector for Erie County, I think, I'm not 100% positive, but he's the president of our bee club that we meet in Clyde the first Monday of every month. So I don't know, I'm a lot of people aren't aware that we don't have a bee inspector, which I do feel we need one, or we need to work with another county to have somebody come in and inspect our hives. Everybody that has hives, I'm going to get myself in trouble here, you're supposed to register them. But my problem is that I'm not going to send my money in to have mine registered if I don't have somebody to check them. I feel that, if I'm going to spend the money to have my hives and all you have to do is where they're located at. But if I can't get somebody to come check my beehives, what point is for me to have, to register them? The thing is, they say, well, it's because if elevators spray or farmers spray, they can contact you to let you know that they're going to spray. And if it's a contact spray, they can either do it hopefully in the evening when the bees are back in the beehive, rather than out flying in the field and then spray them. So, I'm not saying we need a bee inspector, but it sure would be nice. I know there's a lot of questions that I've received through the bee club, that it would be nice to have a bee inspector if we could even get somebody from another county. I myself, I'm not interested in doing it, but I know there is a need for it. So I'm just, kind of trying to voice my opinion as to what we would like to do or what could be done some way, some shape. But there is a need for it, because if between 40 and 60% of all the food we eat comes from honeybees, the pollination of honeybees. And it's just a shame that they're dying off the way they are, that we can't figure out. It's kind of like cancer, we're spending millions of dollars trying to figure out what's causing it and how to cure it, but it's tough to do. And it's the same way with the bees, we have an idea what's doing it, but we aren't 100% sure. Every time you come up, it could be hive beetles, it could be a number of different things that are taking them out, but it's just frustrating that somehow we need to try and figure out how we could get a bee inspector to come in Seneca County and just to check the hives, and see if we have foul brood or American brood, which is really, that's when it all started. I don't know how many years ago it was, the foul brood and the American brood. It's a fungus, and it's a bacteria, and it'll kill the bees off, in a heartbeat, and there's nothing you can do about it except take them and burn them to get rid of it, because you can't wash them down, try and disinfect them in any way to take care of that, because it just gets into the cracks of the wood and everything, and there's no way you can do it. The only way is to do is to burn them, and that's, when you end up burning a whole hive, you're probably talking close to $300 till you have everything that you need to start a hive out. And I know $300 at one point isn't much, but if you have 30 or 40 of them, which I know there's guys around that have that many, that's a lot of money to invest in them, and until you invest in your time and everything to go through them. But I just want to bring that up, and I know I happened to see it in the paper this morning, and matter of fact, I've been going to call down to the commissioner's office and see if we couldn't, you know, somewhere along the way or somehow work something out some way with other counties about a bee inspector, or, and I know there was a thing that said we couldn't afford a bee inspector. Well, you know, we need to, a lot of other things that we can't afford, but we need to figure out how to get it, you know, because if the honeybees keep dying off, like I say, they pollinate between 40 and 60% of what we eat, and that's a tremendous amount of food and material that, you know, we eat as individuals, you know, to try and survive. And if we can't have the honeybees, it's tough, you know, I mean, it's really a sad thing. So I'm not sure where we're at or where you'll be at after I get done talking here, but I'm gonna stop pretty quick and just, you know, but anyway, just to give you some ideas of what, you know, there's, some people think we don't need one, but I don't know, you know, I'm to the opinion in having honeybees that it would be nice to have a county that we could go to have them come in and check our hives if that could be worked out, rather than us pay for one from Seneca County if we don't have the money. So,
Paul, it's kind of a cost-benefit thing as far, you know, from this kid.
sure, I understand.
This is, you know, one of the long list of things that I have no idea about. How much are we talking about to have, if we had a bee inspector, how much is that? Do we have any
I
idea?
have no idea.
And do any other counties co-op this? Do we know
I
that?
have no idea.
Okay.
I noticed that the counties around us, all the appointments were blank.
Right.
And not
Seeing
all
it-
of them, but many of them. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a part-time.
Yeah, right, you're right, and I'm not sure if they don't want one, or excuse me, feel that they don't need one, don't have anybody to take the position, don't have the money, you know, I'm not sure where we're at with that, but it's something we need to be concerned about, because it's tough, you know, I mean, like I say, even as a hobbyist, you know, you spend $140 to get just to get a box of bees started.
Yeah.
Until you work with them, you know, you spend probably a couple, 3 hours a week with them, you know, working with them, you know, and I know that's not a lot of time, but it's things you got to go through to check them, you know, and stuff to make sure they're doing okay. And it's a tough thing to find someone that would want to do that, you know, like once a year or once a month, go around and check people's hives, or once every 2 months. I don't even know how what the scope of it is that they do, how they do it.
Well, I think what you made us aware of, we have know absolutely nothing about it, so.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we can take a look and defer.
Like I say, did you look, Shane, does Erie County have a bee inspector?
They do.
I think Troy Liebengood is, and he's the president of our bee club. He just got voted in last month. So he would be an individual that would really, since he's done it before for Erie County, I think he'd be a good one to contact, you know, to get an idea what to go from there.
Do you have like his email address or contact information?
Pardon me?
Do you have Troy's email address or contact?
I can get it for you,
Would you?
yeah.
Do you know how many
Beekeepers?
beekeepers we have in Seneca?
You know, I don't really know. I know there's
I mean, I understand the importance, because we utilize
Yeah,
them,
right.
we get them for our farm all the time, and it's
There's
costly.
more than I even imagine. I mean, you know, there's days that I shouldn't say, you know, when you're out going to different parts, different towns, you know, going to back roads, I've seen them around town that are, seen them out in the country, but I didn't even imagine people had bees. I mean, there's
Not
a-
in fields, you're talking about by somebody's residence where they're keeping them.
Correct,
yeah.
yep, not as a business or anything, but
Not
as a
residence.
hobby, you know, just like myself, you know, and I have some at home and I have some other places, you know, and it's just frustrating to, you know, to try to figure out what happened to them, or where you put them in a box and you go back a week later and they're gone, you know, and where'd they go to, you know, they just took off. I mean, and then you go back another time and in a hive and they're dead, you know, and it's something, I don't know if a farmer sprayed, you know, and it could have been 2 miles away, because they'll forage up to 3 miles to get nectar to make the honey with. So it's hard to figure out, you know, what really the problem is with them. I mean, you have an idea, but, you know, a lot of ideas can be right or wrong. But anyway, just to let you know how, just my opinion on it, you know, and I know we've talked about this at the Bee Club, you know, about just different places having an inspector. So I'll get Troy's number and I'll email and I'll give it to you, and we can go from there and kind of get an idea for that.
Thank you, it's very informative, I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
We can do that. We'll reach out to him and follow up. with that, see if there's a possibility with other counties. I said, find out how many beekeepers there are and what that demand would be. All right. Anything else on that? We are ready for the reorganization of the Board of Seneca County Commissioners for 2017 before our election of leadership. I would like to nominate Commissioner Kirschner to serve as president of the board and Shane Thomas to serve as vice chair of the board.
Curveball.
Shane in that position.
When my friend and I came in, there always had to be a new person serve as
That's
vice
true,
chair.
yeah.
I mean, you don't have a choice, every two were new.
Because we're the only two. Yeah, we're gonna put Shane in quite a position here.
Yeah.
You want to separate? I can just do the nomination of the chair of, lack of a second, I'll nominate Mike Kirschner to serve as chairman of the, or president of the board.
Well,
I will second that. Just as discussion, I'd like to say that I really appreciate the job that Holly's done. I think she's provided really good leadership, and I appreciate that, from afar and now working with her. So I want to say that, but I do want to give Mike the opportunity to take the helm for a while
Yep.
and a nice rotation of leadership. So.
And I think that rotation is a good idea and needed, because there hasn't been anybody wanting to do it, so I'm hoping that this would be the case this year. Any further comments? Okay, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Kirschner,
yes.
Commissioner Stacy.
Yes. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
So Stacy, does he take it at this point or wait until the end of the meeting?
Yeah, end of the meeting. will be
End of the
fine.
meeting, okay. All right. We do need to fill the vice chair position, and like I said, I would like to remake the nomination I did, if you're willing, just because I,
Okay, I will second.
are you willing?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, we have a motion and a second. We have Commissioner Thomas serve as the vice president of the board for Seneca County Commissioners. Any other comments? If not, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy.
Yes. Congratulations, thank you. All right, now we have the board appointments for the commissioners, and
We
we,
still gotta do the meeting dates.
oh, meeting dates, sorry. Didn't list that, okay. For the officers, we need to do the meeting dates of what our meeting schedule is going to be for 2017. And I have an understanding from just asking questions before that we can make by resolution adjust that schedule down the road. We just have to make sure we hit our minimum of our 50 meetings as pertaining to the schedule we set by resolution, now and or later.
What is,
All right.
what is the amount of time for the advance notice?
24 hours.
It is 24 hours. And typically, we've made a quarterly announcement of what we anticipate our meeting's going to be. Is that
Usually
what-
it's annually.
We usually do it
Always done
annually.
annually. Not saying we can't change that.
And I guess I'm interested in seeing that we continue to have a quarterly night meeting, if that's, that's something we started 4 years ago, if that's of interest to the group, and then, with the same schedule, for, I guess for your information as being new, Shane, we've done the weekly schedule, then the quarterly night meeting and a work session. We also incorporated into one of the standard meeting dates to begin a half hour before the regular meeting time.
Plus, we had a scheduled an extra meeting the last Thursday.
Oh,
Yeah.
yep, and we had scheduled an extra meeting last Thursday of each month, so that as close to the end of the month, we had another meeting in case there was things we
Mop
need to,
up
we're
for
not
the
holding up yet
Administration of.
other offices with things they need to come through the board.
So, well, let's try this. I will propose that we have meetings on Tuesdays and Thursdays every other week. a mop-up meeting on the last Friday of the month, if needed. Continue with the last Thursday of the quarter to have a meeting in one of the towns, or a place to be designated outside of this office.
I think we have them on Tuesdays right now. if that's
Tuesdays? Okay, that'll work.
I'm pretty sure.
I just thought.
I was just saying the quarterly night meeting, I don't know, I would think it might be better on
Okay,
Tuesdays.
So we'll talk about Tuesday.
I think we had changed them to Thursdays.
Oh,
That's what I
This
thought.
preliminary schedule that,
Okay, then yeah, whatever's on
Thursdays.
the calendar already is. must
There's,
be
there's,
Thursdays
yeah,
then.
because you're needing to look at a space, I see you were looking at that
Yeah.
Thursday.
So, quarterly evening meetings on the last Thursday, is that how we do it?
it's the 4th.
Fourth Thursday. Anything else we
Is
need to
that,
cover?
will that hit the township quarterly meeting?
I will not. I've got January 26th, April 30th, July 18th, and October 17th.
Okay, you already got that in there.
Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
but I did not put Fridays in because I thought we were going to talk about just doing as needed and
Okay.
doing, adding.
I just didn't know if
anything.
we wanted to put one in there as a mop-up and then cancel it, but
Okay.
that's how we did it last year, right? We had one final meeting, and most of the time, we just
Yeah.
canceled it.
It was
But
on-
However, if we're having a third, well, I guess it could be a week that it wouldn't be, we'd have a Thursday meeting, I see what you're
Yeah.
saying, yeah.
So, the rotation would be this week, obviously, is Tuesday. It's gonna be, we won't have a meeting tomorrow, but we'll have a meeting Thursday. And then, the week after, we'll skip, and then Tuesday, Thursday, blah, blah, blah.
Are we going to have any concerns? I'm thinking we're gonna have some concerns from, regarding accessibility from some offices, potentially of being able to address their staff with that. I mean, I'm just raising a question.
Well, I think that's why we'll do this for a couple of months, and if there seems to be some consternation and some problems, we'll adjust.
We can adjust it. yeah.
The only one that I had even had a chance to talk to about it was Julie, because I wanted to wait until we actually decided something, but I
She
knew
had
with
any
her.
immediate
Well,
problems?
she thought we needed a meeting every week, but,
Okay.
told her that it would, potentially maybe just be, try it and see if it worked.
Let's see what happens.
All right, so.
Did you move, Mike? Is that-
I did move, it was kind of a convoluted motion, but I think we got there,
So we'd be Tuesday, Thursdays, beginning with the Thursday this week.
yes.
Yes.
So then next week there'd be no meeting. Then the week of the 23rd, we'd be the 24th and the 26th. I'm just dragging
Yes.
this, right?
Yes,
The 26th would be at
Okay.
7 o'clock.
All right. And then that would be the first month of the first quarter, so that would be an evening meeting at 7 PM. And then the next week, just outline it, would be the February 6th, that week, 7th and the 9th, 21st, 23rd. Okay, when do we want to do the work session? Or was that designated, Mike?
no, unless it's in here. And then
I
can
don't think
leave it.
we put anything in for a work session.
What we did that
Do the second Tuesday of
Yeah.
each month?
The second Tuesday meeting of each month, let's just say that.
All right.
Okay, the second
Tuesday meeting, whenever that
Tuesday
happens
board
to be.
meeting.
Right,
Okay.
we'll have a work session.
All right. So that's the motion, that's with that in.
And that is 9:30?
The work session, yes.
Yeah.
Will the regular board meeting time be 10, other than the evening meeting?
You think we have everything covered there?
You guys are making this way too hard for us, thank you very much.
Bullet these things on the
We'll email it
agenda,
to
and I
you.
would have totally forgot about the schedule.
If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor.
Oh, yeah, right.
All right. The motion, have this second. We've had some discussion about it. Let's call roll.
Who seconded it?
I did.
Shane did.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes.
I'm sorry, we're trying to write everything down.
All right. Now we'll do the designation of board appointments for 2017.
Well, the only change I'd like to make is, in this list that we have, I'm on Chamber and Shane's on Economic Development. I'd like to go on Economic Development for a year and ask Shane to take Chamber. So switch those two out. And then the question I had was, on the museum board, do we have all three of us, or do we have a designee?
A designee, and we'll need that person as well.
One commissioner.
Okay, I'd like to take that if I could.
So for these two, and then you would have the museum advisory board. Yeah, because that needed to get added in here.
And you're looking for
Mike, do you
desi-
wanna bump down Erie Basin to me?
Sure.
Equal it out a little bit.
You got it. Any more you want, just pick it right off.
As you kind of inherited Fred's list.
And we're all on the land bank, is that correct?
And land bank is
Only
every-
two. Land bank is only two.
Is it?
Currently it's Commissioner Kirschner and Commissioner Stacy.
Okay, so that's not,
That's fine. I
it's just written here at the bottom. Is it
Yeah.
just to remember that we needed to add it?
Yes,
Yeah.
and maybe just to add it,
Okay.
but we do only have two commissioners to sit on that.
So that'll get added.
Same two.
it's fine with me.
Okay. So you know what's anything.
Alright. Did that get us caught up on everything? Is there anything else that was added during the year? I think we got everything. See anything on my list you want to let me know? Willing to share. I mean, a lot of these we're all due, you know, the health advisory and OSS solid waste.
Yeah, I'm taking one for the team. I'm staying on the board of revision, Shane.
Okay, I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Believe me, you're welcome.
You'll get your turn at that, but that's a good, it's a time-consuming one. It's an interesting process and you'll learn a lot from that one.
And Shane is gonna take over Fred's, the NCEO or COG, the NCOR COG
Yes.
appointment, okay.
All right. Guess that's everything then? So is there a resolution prepared for that? Or
There will be.
according to these notes? Okay.
Yeah, after
all right.
suggested.
I will move approval of the amended assigned appointments.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All right, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes. All right, good. Guess that leads us up to supplemental appropriations as written on the agenda.
Quite a few of them. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations to the PSI Pre-Sentencing Investigation Writers Grant Fund, putting $84,486.50 into contract services. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the SFY fiscal year Community Corrections Grant Fund, putting $9,000 into contract services.
That's the best signature you're gonna see out here.
This is good.
The supplement to permanent appropriation to the general fund, this is putting funds into our transfers out. This is for our Board of Elections project, our prosecutors project, and we also have to put our lease payments that get transferred from the general fund to our capital improvement funds. So all this money will be going to our capital improvement line for those projects. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations to the VAP court costs and miscellaneous fund, putting $400 into advertising. An appropriation adjustment within the VAP court cost, moving $200 from other expense to advertising. I have a resolution authorizing a fund transfer be made to the bond retirement fund. This is putting $147,000 from the general to our bond retirement, which was already budgeted. Just moving it. And a resolution authorizing a fund transfer be made to the capital facilities note retirement fund. Again, this was already budgeted, we're just moving it from the general fund to the capital facilities note retirement fund. A resolution authorizing a fund transfer be made to the LGF alternate formula to the ambulance service fund, $181,600, again, already budgeted, just moving it. Resolution authorizing fund transfer be made for the LGF alternate formula to the Soil and Water Fund for $10,000. Resolution authorizing a fund transfer being made to the EMA fund for $60,000. I have a resolution authorizing the Seneca County Engineer to prepare and submit an application to participate in the Ohio Public Works Commission State Capital Improvement and/or Local Transportation Improvement Programs, to execute contracts as required for issue 1, round 32 for Seneca County. I have a resolution authorizing the Seneca County Engineer to use the force account pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code, section 5543.19, for the year 2017 in the matter of routine maintenance of equipment and yard facilities, such emergency work as necessary. And I have a resolution authorizing the expenditures of funds for supplies for times of snow removal, emergencies, meetings held by the Seneca County Engineer. Resolution authorizing the Seneca County Engineer to hold an annual meeting of county and township authorities. They are having this scheduled on Thursday, March 16th, 2017 at 6 p.m. And I think this is out to we usually have this out to the fairgrounds. He does not have the place, so I will get the place later. Resolution designated Mark Zimmerman as the authorized agent to participate in the ODOT Cooperative Purchasing Program. A resolution authorizing a contract with Fairfield Computer Services LLC on behalf of Seneca County Auditor's Office. This is for their dog licensing system. And I have a resolution authorizing a contract service with Vanguard Sentinel Career Center for GED instruction services for the Seneca County jail inmates. And that's all the resolutions I have.
Move for approval.
Second?
And a motion and a second to move for approval on the resolutions as stated. Any comments, questions, concerns on any of the above? Okay, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes, all approved. Thank you. This is an opportunity for citizens' comments at this time. Does anybody have comments they'd like to make? Ron Craig.
I'm Craig from the Review Times. That's a full story, Jimmy.
I wondered where that was.
I got a question about this EMS meeting tomorrow. I guess since the meeting's being held here and the Commissioner's office is the one that sent out the invitations, I think that kind of makes it your meeting. My question is, if the members of the press show up for this meeting, are they going to be locked out?
No.
So even if it's not considered a public meeting, the press will be allowed to participate?
There's no reason not to.
Okay.
We're not making any decision, we're having some discussion tomorrow, and, I don't know if it might inhibit the conversation, but there's no reason to make a conference. I mean, in theory, if we'd have thought it through, we probably would have sent notification out in advance. But the only idea behind the meeting, there is no separate agenda about this. It's trying to get all the townships together to come up with an agenda into the future as to what makes sense to make sure that we're in full communication between the commissioners and the townships. To make sure that we're not cramming anything down to them that they don't think is proper. And conversely, to make sure that they're telling us, what their sense is and what they'd like to have us on the agenda with. So there will be no decisions made tomorrow.
Sure.
It'll be more of an organizational thing, but you're more than welcome.
Okay. Well, I was just concerned that, that when we make comments about making phone calls or sending out emails, telling townships to not have more than one person there, I think I'm troubled by that message.
That message would be because I'm not sure that they realized,
Right.
if they were asking us to host it, I don't know if they were considering it our meeting, but they would know because they're public officials
Right.
that requires that 24-hour notice, and I'm not sure if they're gonna feel like they've done that
Right.
You know, the reason for
And I
that-
appreciate Mr. Kirschner's comment at one point that to play it safe, maybe we better postpone the meeting. Now, that's not what happened, but, you know, I appreciate that part of it. The other thing that concerns me is our county's EMS director is out of state. My understanding is he's out of state due to a death in the family. Why would we not want to have the county EMS director at this kind of a meeting?
Because that isn't, the purpose of the meeting is not specifically EMS. The purpose of the meeting is to try to organize the group to talk about communication between the townships and the county. EMS is a topic, but it is not the reason for the meeting.
Okay, all right. I apologize for that.
No, that's okay.
I thought that was
I
the
mean,
main focus
well,
of the
the
meeting.
impetus about all this had been the EMS when we originally talked about it, but really what's happened through the gradual conversations with the trustees is that there really hasn't been any mechanism that they can sit down and give the commissioners or a representative from the commissioners some ideas about what they're concerned about, what they like to have discussed. So we just think it's good to, we need to do that, and we need to have an elected officials meeting probably, occasionally, which we have in the past, but we just need to get that rolling.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure.
Anything else for citizens' comments at this time? Okay, seeing none. There's no further business.
I move for adjournment.
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye. We stand adjourned. It's 10:45.